Welcome, friends of Westwood Collegiate. Welcome to our band concert this evening. If you don't know me, my name is Kevin Dewitt, principal of Westwood Collegiate. It's always exciting to kick off this is a very, very busy year of band concerts. We've got Optimist Festival, the Brandon Jazz Festival, this big event, which will be over in a flash, that kids have been working on for months, and they're just ready to display their talents for you. And Mr. Edwards has prepped them well. Really, really excited. Just a community message while you're here. If you know any friends or families who are wanting to come out to our open house next week, please invite them. Friends or families with grade 8 students, we're welcoming them all. We expect to have room, and we'd love to show them the school 1 week from tonight. That's Wednesday, February 12th. Just let you know that. But we have for you to kick off the show one of the hardest working bands in showbiz, I'm told. They call themselves the Little Tykes Jazz Ensemble or Orchestra. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Edwards and the Little Tykes Band!
I found it. There's the microphone. Right on, right on, right on, right on. What a way to start a concert! You guys are awesome. You guys are on fire. I love it. Mr. Carnegie, where am I going? Over here? Okay, hi, everybody. Hello to the World Wide Web. Webcasting across the nation, the country, wherever. First person to log in, I believe, was Mrs. Dumore from Phoenix. Hi there, how you doing? My name is Greg Edwards. If you don't know, I'm the band director here. I'll be your pilot for an evening. We're going to have a great time flying at about, I don't know, after that, maybe about 5 or 6 feet higher than we were a minute ago. We're going to have an awesome evening of amazing music making and wonderful student performances. And I encourage you to do something most of you don't know how to do anymore. I encourage you to sit, for the next 2 hours and enjoy yourself without technology. Now, I'm not going to shame you if you look at your phone if it goes off, but I'm going to tell you something. Back in the day, I would go to Sanson's concerts to watch my kids, and literally, as the cute little kindergartners would walk on, a wall of technology would come up, so much so there was a blue hue over the whole entire audience. And believe it or not, people with iPads, they're like up there, and it's like holding a TV screen, for heaven's sakes. I said, you know what, at my concerts, it's not going to work. We just can't do that. And let's face it, you're going to take crappy pictures with your phone. You're gonna, yeah. And you're never going to look at them again, are you? Nope, not going to look at them ever again, but you're going to take them because you think you gotta. Hey, what if you just could sit and enjoy yourself, and I hire 2 professional photographers to actually shoot the entire show? What if I hired a professional videographer to shoot the entire show? And at the end of the year in June, we sell you for $20 a flash drive with all the photos on it and all the concerts on it in 8 megapixels each, which your phone can't do, and just do it that way. So if you want to take pictures, go ahead, but they won't be as good as mine. And while you're trying to figure out, what button do I push again? You'll miss that moment of your child. So sit back, relax, enjoy the feedback, enjoy your night, and let's get to some more music with the Little Tykes Jazz Orchestra. Here is a really interesting composition. The first one was called Black Pearls and featured Brett over there on tenor saxophone, which you guys seem to enjoy. Yeah, he is having a good night there. I'm going to change things to a 60s vibe. Here's a new composition by a guy named Gordon Goodwin, whom I really, really enjoy his music. And here's a new composition by him called Told You So, written entirely in that sort of old school 60s kind of chill. So I hope you enjoy this. My mic is now on. At least the feedback was in the right key, I think. I think it kind of fit, sort of. Did you figure it out, Keenan? It's all good. Everybody give it up for Keenan from Industry Audio helping us out tonight. Keenan and I were here literally since 7 o'clock this morning, and I swear to you, I know you won't believe me, and that's fine. We don't have a trust relationship yet. And as I tell all my grades, 9s every year, don't respect me and don't trust me. We got to earn that stuff, and I know we haven't earned trust yet, but you got to believe me, since 7 o'clock this morning, we've had zero feedback. I have been in this room, literally with a band, non-stop till 3:30, and no feedback. And now all the way through our song. Hey, that's the way it works, that's for sure. Anyways, welcome. There's a huge feeling of community when you come to a Westwood concert, and we're really, really excited that you could be here and you could share in our music making tonight. And we'll have lots of quick hits along the way. And the way our format works is we're going to do one more with the jazz band, and then we're literally going to go shift right here to grade 10 concert band. Then we'll take a small break. One of the things I want to talk about, and it's a thing that miffs me, it bothers me, it really irks me. I don't understand why people cannot come and enjoy a community event for 2 hours. It irks me that every time I go to community events, I see parents, literally by the droves, as soon as their kid is done playing, get up and parade arrogantly across in front of everybody like it don't matter. We're all here for each other, folks. We're all here to cheer each other on. Westwood is a community. And at our concerts here at Westwood, it's their exam. And part of their exam is staying the entire time and supporting each other. And we would hope that you would do that too. Now I understand with every rule in the world there are exceptions. And if you have to sneak out while we have a break, there's a door in the back corner over there. And then there's a door over there. It's a fire exit. And you can do so quietly and not disturb the rest of us. But let's stay. Let's be a part of this community event because it is very powerful. And then you can hear by the music that's being made tonight by this band that that's something that we all appreciate. Final selection tonight here is going to be something that's really fun that the band thought they couldn't play. And I like that about this piece. And it's a piece of music by Chuck Mangione. You guys all remember Chuck Mangione from the 70s, but in the 80s, he sort of had what they called a sellout hit on AM radio with Feels So Good. Da, 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 ba, da, ba, da, 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 da. That's Chuck Mangione. But he has some serious street cred. He was the director of the Eastman Jazz Ensemble literally through most of the 70s. And that was considered to be one of the #1 jazz bands in the whole entire of North America. So he's got some street cred. And he wrote this song and debuted it at the Hollywood Bowl in '78. And we listened to the recordings of that. And we hope to channel a little bit of that for you tonight. Here's a wonderful, wonderful selection for our last selection here from LTJO called Land of Make-Believe. All right, we're migrating over here. Look at that. Isn't that cool how that works? Kind of coming over this way now. All right, put all this together here. And why don't we, while you guys are getting settled there, why don't we could, let's maybe tune. Should we tune first? Let's tune first. And I'll tell the story. All right, so what you see in front of me here, or in front of you here, I guess, is the grade 10 concert band. And this particular ensemble had an interesting job this year as I looked for music for them. And I've always wanted to perform the piece of music we're going to perform for you tonight. But my ensembles have always been so enormously large that it can't be done. Because this piece is written very specifically for the exact number of people you'll see playing tonight. And so that it works because it's very delicate. And to give you a bit of the backstory about what we're going to hear is a piece called Sheltering Sky by John Mackey, which of course the original title gives us the idea of going out and maybe watching a sunset or something like that. But as you dig deeper into the piece of the music, you find that actually the word sheltering is the key to understanding this piece of music. And this piece of music is written about something that we struggle with maybe, is talking about things that aren't kind and aren't nice and aren't happy. And we look to understand pieces of music that are maybe written about deeper subjects. And this particular subject is about maybe what it might be like to live in an abusive home. What might it like to come home from school to a house you don't want to come into? Where do you find shelter? Where do you get release from that? And Mackey wrote a piece of music about what might be possible if maybe we could leave that house and go out, and of course, being prairie people, we can find big sky if we want to. And maybe just run away for a bit and get out in the middle of nowhere, which is literally 20 kilometers that way. I've ridden my bike out there. There's nothing out there, trust me. And maybe just sort of find the solace in that and just kind of sit under the big sky and be out there with the birds and sort of the prairie grasses blowing around and kind of take stock of your life and maybe at some point find the courage to go back and try one more time. Sheltering Sky by John Mackey. I'm a hot mess. I'm crying away. I'm conducting. It's like, wow. It's a powerful piece of music. And oh, man, did we work on it. And I'll tell you something. There's hardly a lot of things on that page. And so when you hand it out, kids go, oh, this is easy. All the black notes mean hard. This is easy. And boy, when they got into that, you could feel that, eh? You just feel it. There's a lot of words in there that I don't think are even in the English language. There's a lot of emotion in that piece, and Makey did such a great job of capturing it. But to talk about it and to teach it and to go through it is hard, because you know that, it's a sad reality of our lives, but, not everybody comes to school every morning with a kiss on the cheek and told they're loved. And it's a hard thing to talk about. It's a hard thing to discuss, but it was a neat springboard for us to have some pretty deep discussions, so it was kind of fun. It's pretty obvious that one of these kids in front of me is not a grade 10 student, and I think we should talk about that for a second. It has nothing to do with like, oh, we can't possibly find enough talent, so we hired a ringer or something like that. At some point, this bedazzled woman over here has probably given herself away. We are very blessed to have ability of the support of the school division to bring in clinicians to work with our young people. And Miss Munzer, Susan Munzer, has been working with me and the bands at Westwood for, gosh, it's got to be coming on almost 20 years now. We've been doing that. And she comes in during the day, so kids don't have to reschedule their lives. She comes to the classroom while we have our band classes and does pullouts and works with the kids in the back, and they love her. She's kind, she's generous, she's patient. And she felt she wasn't giving the kids enough, so she even went and learned clarinet just to make sure she could offer enough for everybody, and still takes private lessons on clarinet to kind of keep up with the clarinet players, which is kind of fun. She holds performance degrees from Queen's University in trumpet and flute. Please give it up, Miss Susan Munzer. So just as fun, it's like, hey, play the concert with us, and the kids are all like, she's going to play, it's so great. So it's like they sit up a little straighter now because Miss Munzer's here, so they don't care about me at all in any way. All right, so we need a contrast to the heartbreak. So then I was digging and digging and digging, and I thought, oh, let's do something fun. Let's do something crazy. Let's do something wacky. Let's do something outside the box. So I decided to find something about a bullfight. And I was like, well, what about flamenco dancing? What about something that was a flamenco dancing bullfight? That made me happy. I found it. This is Zorro Rojo. Now, for those of you that don't speak Spanish, but probably watched Zorro when you were a kid, did you actually know that Zorro was fox? I had no idea, literally until recently, that Zorro was fox. I didn't know. So Zorro Rojo, Red Fox, there you go. Red Fox Spanish March. Here we go, grade 10 concert band. So now we come to the point where you get a little bit of a stretch. You gotta wiggle around, have some community, talk to your friends around you, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna change out a concert band, change out a jazz band, and get back to you in a second. Keenan's gonna put on some music to us to groove to. We'll be back to you in about 2 or 3 minutes. I really hate to interrupt The Girl from Ipanema, our favorite elevator piece of music, but all right, you rowdies, sit down. Let's get going. All right. Let's get this party started. Yeah. All right. I have not spotted him yet, but I know that Trustee Chegwis snuck in here somewhere. Where are you? There he is, right there. Everybody give a hand for him. He comes to all our stuff. Always here. Thank you for your support. Absolutely. Great to see you. So, a little bit about what's going on in the band program and what you've seen tonight. And we've got a lot of grade 9 parents here that are new and have never seen a Westwood concert, so it's good to kind of go over some of this stuff. So number one, you are looking at student voice. When you hear about schools talking about student voice and popping up some kind of slogan and you wonder how that looks in action, this is it. There is not a teacher or a parent in any way involved in running this concert. Behind the scenes, there are over 200 kids organizing themselves to come onto stage in a certain order. They are tuning by themselves. They're making sure everything's ready. They're helping solve problems when everything from Band-Aids to broken oboes, it's happening. And it's happening in behind the scenes in the wings of our school. There's no vice principal back there. There's nobody telling them what to do or what time to even be here. They came here last night, as a lot of you know, at 9 o'clock, set everything up you see. This was not done by the band parent group or anything like that. This was done by students because they realize that pride comes from ownership. Moliere says, judge the size of your accomplishment by what you had to overcome to achieve it. And they worked really hard just to physically put the chairs in place, let alone the ones you're sitting in tonight. So it's really, really kind of with a great joy that we have these moments with our students tonight because we're celebrating their successes. This is their exam. I always think it would be so cool if during the math exam, every one of your kids had some kind of camera over top of their stuff and it was webcast or displayed on a big screen and you could watch and literally 700 people would cheer when they factored properly. Wouldn't that be great? So I tell them, it's kind of the coolest test ever because we're going to test you when you're at your best. We're going to test you when you're sounding amazing. And are they sounding pretty good tonight? Yeah. Yeah, they have worked hard. We have a motto here. Tonight our goal is to make you clap because you want to, not because you have to. And by the way, parents' applause does not count. That's love. It's completely different. When a grade 12 parent is literally giving a standing ovation to the grade 9 concert band, they know it's real. They feel that. They go, wow, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Behind me, symphonic band. Symphonic band is made up of grade 11s and 12s. We combine them together to try and tackle some of literally the most challenging repertoire that exists for concert band. And when I hand it out at the beginning of the year after we get through our boot camp, most of them say no. In the same way you would probably say no if you were standing at the base of Mount Everest staring up at it. I mean, I've seen it on TV and I've seen it in magazines, but I'm telling you, if you ever put me at base camp and I went, it would just no, I'd just turn around and walk away. So that was the first day, and then the second day, well, let's try a little and see what it might sound like, and let's try just a little bit more. And then all of a sudden, here we are, February 5th. And we're going to tackle a couple of those things. It's not that I had a theme to talk about depressing music tonight. I don't. I listen for good music, and good music is good music. But the next piece of music also has a story that's going to be close to your hearts. Brian Balmagers, the composer of this piece of music, was commissioned to write a piece of music for what school is it, guys? Does it say here? It's going to be in my notes here. Yes. The Cumberland High School Band, Cumberland, Wisconsin. Daniel Hopkins is the director. So they hired him to write a piece of music, and he went out and flew out and met with the band and started talking about, well, what are some of the things about your city and the students so I can get a feel about what kind of music I would write for you. At that moment, his father had massive kidney failure. And he struggled to balance his private life with his public life. And I think a lot of us in this room know what that feels like. As our parents sort of get aged and we have to start taking care of them. And you can imagine how drastic and how awful that feels to have your parents suffering, and yet you've got to fly across the country and write this piece of music. So they started writing this piece of music and writing this piece of music. And we went through the notes. Most pieces of music have like a paragraph. This is the notes for this piece of music. And it actually is an email written by Brian Malmages to the director. He says, I've been working on your piece of music, but my private life has taken over my public life. And I can't write the piece of music for you I was going to write. I'm going to have to write this piece of music now because this is how I feel and I can't get out of this. And so he was hopping on a plane to do a guest bit in Ireland. And as he was on his way to Ireland, he found out his father was in the hospital. And they predicted he was not going to live. He got to Ireland, canceled his gig, turned around, got on the plane, flew all the way back home. Got there, prognosis got better, prognosis got better. His dad said, oh, stop worrying about it. Stop worrying about me. I'm fine. Go do your life. Go do your thing. Go be with the kids. Write them their music. It brings you so much joy. So he left the hospital and he went off and went to another gig, and sure enough, he was there and got a phone call that his father was dying and he needed to come home immediately. And being a trumpet player, he brought his daughter with him, and they played trumpet duets for their dad as he was dying. And so this piece is called Breaking Point. And it talks directly to being pushed to the absolute brink of just wanting to scream a 4-letter F word at the sky because your world does not seem to want to do what you want it to do. And you feel so helpless. The rhythms in this piece aren't consistent. They keep changing on you, and they keep changing on you and changing on you because life keeps throwing you curveballs. And I'm not going to tell you how the story ends. I'm going to let the band tell you what happened to his dad. Here is Breaking Point. So you can imagine as we get into some of these works, like preparing them, to prepare a 10-minute piece of music is like you would build a cruise ship, in little pieces and slowly bring them all together so that we can kind of go through it. But we don't end up actually running the whole piece of music until we get pretty close to concert time. But you can see that that piece did not end in the way you predicted. And I will just say that neither did Mr. Balmage's life end the way he thought it was going to. We need contrast. But before I get to that, let's talk a little bit more about community and just introduce a couple of people that are in the room here. We mentioned his name before, but literally he has been here nonstop all day helping us out. And it wouldn't be that we would be nearly as successful without his help. Thanks to Keenan from Industry Audio, please. Westwood alumni and I don't know how I want to word this. World famous is too big of an ego for this guy. So let's go with world requested. Should we call it world requested referee? Yeah? Westwood Band alumni and a wonderful videographer tonight, Brendan Burnell, sitting up there in the top, please. I've had a long, long friendship with this man, and he and I came up with this idea of putting literally a Mac at the back of the room on FaceTime. And that's how we started webcasting back roughly about 15 years ago, and that was so cutting edge. People were like, there's no way you'll ever be able to do it. We're like, yeah, watch this. From there, go home tonight, go to our YouTube channel, and you'll see there's slides going by, there's graphics, there's animation, different camera angles, there's a whole bunch of things going on. And a lot of that was the brainchild of this man, and we thank you so much for being here and sharing your love of technology with us. He's leaving us, Friday to go skiing in Banff? Yeah, bugger. Anyways, give it up for Rob Carnegie at the back, please. And truthfully, this would not happen without my administration. I cannot say enough about these three people. There are words that do exist in the English language, I just don't know them. But without the support of our wonderful vice principals, Miss Leah Jones, where is she? Is she around here right now? Is she gone there? She's at the back, right over there. Hey, oh no, stand up, be recognized. Beside her, our other vice principal, Miss Sarah James, please stand up. There we go. All right. And the man that supports all my dreams, Mr. Kevin Duick over there, our principal, please. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Years ago, what was it? 60, what? When did Chance get around to writing this thing? 1967. Barnes Chance sat down and took an old Korean folk song and decided to write all these different variations for it. So what we're gonna do is we'll play the main theme for you, and then we have 5 different variations of the exact same song, which sounds kind of weird at first, but they're all kind of really a little bit different. And one of the interesting things we did is we sat down and we actually learned the words to the folk song in Korean. Can you believe that? So we're gonna demonstrate some of that. Oh, I heard a pfft. Love it. I love it. Thanks. Thanks so much for supporting education in our school system. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Seriously, though, it was super fun. And they didn't balk at it at all. I said, hey, let's learn this thing in Korean. And they're like, okay, sure, why not? But then again, these are the kind of kids where I can say, hey, my car's dirty. Would you go wash it? And they're like, sure, okay, why not? So, that's the way I have. This is a really fun masterpiece. I think you're going to enjoy this piece of music from Symphonic Band, our last selection. This is Variations on a Korean Folk Song. Obviously, they are very excited and thankful for the applause. And a lot of their smiles are their own for like, yeah, I nailed it, I got it. You know, that feelings of success of like just concentrating for like 8 minutes solid and not thinking about anything else and just like so being in the zone. It's just so, I can't even put words in there, I'll start crying. But it just really am proud of these guys. Let's give them another hand. That was really impressive. Really, really well done. You should feel very, very good about yourselves. Let's go listen to some jazz band. All right. While they're getting set up, let's talk about Jazz Band at Westwood. Jazz Band at Westwood is unlike any other program I know of in the province, and I've been just about everywhere in the province. And I can tell you something that's really exciting about it, that we have the chance or the opportunity to work with people like Mr. Carnegie and be on the internet. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Rob. My world just turned upside down. So what I was going to say is that jazz at Westwood is kind of a unique thing because it's done by ability. So the band behind me actually is made up of grade 9s, grade 10s, grade 11s, and grade 12s. The band you heard first was made up of grade 10s, grade 11s, and 12s, and the band you're going to hear at the end of the night is made up of grade 10s and 11s and 12s. And then go through an audition process and a sorting process so that every single student at Westwood Collegiate that wants to be in a jazz band can, and they're put somewhere where they are challenged and somewhere that they can be successful. And I think it's exciting, and I think you support it, I think they support it, and I think it's pretty awesome. Would you agree with that? Yeah, it is. Isn't that neat? To have an administration that would say, I don't know how we're going to schedule that, but we'll figure that out. Greg let us do that. And they did, and it's great, and it's wonderful, and it's supportive, and each year the jazz program continues to grow, and our band program is, well, it's the largest in the division and has been for about a decade, but we love having kids here, and they love being here, and it's always a fun transition, and don't worry, the 9s are coming up. Some in here, but the concert band's coming up next. This is the big band. We had a contest to name it. It literally is called the Westwood Big Band, but it's actually B period, I period, G period, and I actually think that, wasn't it you that won the contest, Mr. Descender? Yeah, Brett Descender came with us. We had 75 names on the board, and we voted them down to 1. And everybody loved it because it sounds traditional, Westwood Big Band. And everybody goes, well, what does BIG stand for? He says, oh, band, instruments, and Greg. Second he said that at 1, it was like, oh, coolest name ever, right on. So behind us, big band. We're going to start with a piece of traditional music. Hendrix, John Hendrix, right? John Hendrix made this famous? And then we added some words later, right? So we did a unit with these guys on 60s jazz. So all 3 of the pieces we're going to do tonight feature from that era, and we did a lot of research on it, and we talked about it. And you know what's really, really cool is your kids don't know who the Beatles are anymore. Yeah, I hear this. I know. Tell me about it. John, Bingo, I don't know. Bingo, I don't know. Never heard of them. So it was fun to do the research on things like, who's Ray Charles? They didn't know he was blind. Isn't that cool? Had no idea. Had no clue. Beep, beep, nothing. When I told them that he literally got on a bus in Alabama and literally took, now think about this even today, he took the bus, a blind man from Alabama took the bus to Seattle and had no idea how to even get there. Every time he got off the bus, he just asked people how to get to Seattle and they would direct him. He had money. This is before Braille was even on money. He's like relying on strangers and literally took the bus from Alabama to Seattle. And there the rest of the story goes, and we'll talk about that a little bit. This piece, centerpiece. Love it. It's a love song. Valentine's Day, do you hear it knocking? February 14th, it's coming. Here's a love song about being the centerpiece, being the center of somebody's life. Oh, I love it. Love it. Look at those little smiles on their faces. It's all funny. We talk about, it's so funny, I'm watching some of them, and we talk about in class about when we come in front of people and we're going to perform, a lot of them concentrate really hard and they have resting you-know-what face. So when they're concentrating, like, hey, you might want to try smiling. There's people watching you. But they're loving it, and they're having fun, and they're enjoying themselves. We missed applause for one little quick solo in the back. Mr. Schilling on drums there. Well done, well done, well done. Yep. So for those of you that don't understand jazz or know anything about jazz, these people that come to the front are doing what's called an improvised or ad-lib solo. We work hard on scale structures and a whole bunch of ideas, but the idea in jazz is that they create a new melody. And when they come to the microphone, it's not scripted, it's not written for them, there's nothing that's written out or put down in paper in any way. We just talk a lot about the concepts and we try it over and over and over and over again, just like you would if you were making a clay pot or something like that. And this failed, this is right, and we kind of keep track of them. And it's kind of fun on your phones because you can kind of, oh, that lick, I like that. You can play it in your phone and kind of hold on to it in voice memos and stuff like that. And they work really hard on that construction of it. So when they come up, they're really nervous because it's like, well, I hope this pot works out. Oh no, it's got a big hole in it. I better fix it. That kind of feeling in front of a live audience is always a little bit intimidating. So that's why the applause means double, because they're like really nervous. On to a piece of Joe Henderson's music. Is that right? Did I get that right? John Hendricks. No, Joe Henderson. I was right. I'm getting my Jimi Hendrix, Joe, what am I talking about anymore? John Henderson. So he's a saxophone player. We listened to the original of this piece of music, and the arrangement here by Terry White is really, really close to the original. So we kind of went after it, listened to the original, and kind of went back and forth and try and improve on the groove. And it's another step up from the piece you just heard. And we've got two reprobates came to mind, but I don't think that's the right word here. Two wonderful soloists that are going to start this piece off, something a little bit different. Here's a neat little Latin tune called Mamacita. Oh, you know, it's funny. It's being behind the scenes. I kind of have an idea of some of their little successes, and Riley playing that last high note at the end on trumpet. It's like, you know, he's trying, and some days he gets it, some days he doesn't. It's like, don't worry, it's going to happen. And it was great, man. It was good. The solos were great. You guys are awesome, man. You're having a good night. Absolutely, things are going really, really well for you. Nope, I'm not going to say anything here. I think we're going to move into this next one. And I just am going to say a little bit about the Ray Charles thing in the end. Led us to where this next piece came from, which is a John Landis movie from the 1980s, you may know, called Blues Brothers. Now, what's really weird about that movie and why it was famous, it was full of cameos. So every person in there was a famous person. What if you didn't know any of the famous people? Would the movie still be funny? I decided to try and find that out by having them watch it. So they didn't know who Aretha Franklin is. They don't know who any of these people are. They barely know who the Saturday Night Live band is. Saturday Night Live to them exists on little clips in YouTube, let alone something you'd actually watch on a regular basis and run. And at work, we'd all talk about, you know, around the water cooler about Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi and the crazy stuff they'd done. You know, these people didn't even know who Dan Aykroyd is, let alone that he's a Canadian, et cetera, et cetera. So we did all this research. It was really kind of fun. And then we sat down and watched the movie, and I thought, they're going to hate it. There's no So I started by, there is no CGI in this movie. Every cop car you see being smashed is a real cop car being smashed by someone actually driving it. And they're like, okay, this is going to be cool. And I'm like, and I told them, it once, I don't know if you know this, held the world record for the most cop cars smashed in a movie. So they're like, oh, I think I'm going to like this. And so we watched it, and they loved it. It was really good. It still stood the test of time. And there is Carrie Fisher. Literally, she just finished filming Star Wars. They didn't know it was going to be big. They thought it was the dumbest movie they'd ever seen in their life. And they did it, got the money, and ran. The next thing she did after Star Wars was played the crazy girlfriend / jilted lover of John Belushi in the Blues Brothers. And she kept, isn't that Princess Leia? It was great. We had so much fun. Anyways, in the middle of the movie, they end up having to get the band back together, and they go to Ray's Music Exchange to get some instruments. And of course, that's run by Ray Charles. And there's a scene in there where the boy tries to steal a guitar off the wall, and suddenly out of nowhere, Ray shoots the wall and just misses him. They didn't laugh. Oh, that's right. They don't know he's blind. They don't get the joke. The blind guy with the gun. Okay, and then I explained it, and they're like, it's kind of funny. But you know, any joke you have to explain isn't actually that funny. So anyways, so they go and they get their music, and then they do this huge music montage about Shake a Tail Feather. And that's where this piece of music comes from. So I hope you enjoy our last selection from the big band. Here's Shake a Tail Feather from the Blues Brothers. It's so funny. There's all this applause going on there, like, I need to go now. We talked a lot about this. This is class the first couple of days of soloing, by the way. Their feet playing and their feet would be walking away. It's like, they're so scared, eh? Another big hand for these guys. That was a great job. Yeah. Right on. Right on. Yeah. That's what I like. All right, Keenan's going to hit us with the music. You guys get stretched. Let's get the community going again and chatting with everybody. And let's get two more bands on and finish out our night. We'll be back with you in a minute. Check 1, 2. All right, you rowdies, sit down. That's right, I'm talking to you, Mrs. Descender. That's right, I'm calling you out. All right. I do this every year, and it always amazes me, but it's always fun to do. So if you're a grade 9 parent, you're going to be like, wow, this is kind of fun. If you're a grade 11 and 12 or 10 parent, you're like, we've seen this before, but it is kind of neat. People who grow up in Westwood don't leave. Watch this. If you're a Westwood Collegiate alumnus, regardless of year, please stand. No, stand up, yeah, be proud. Look at it, look at this, look at this. This is crazy. We don't leave, isn't that nuts? Congratulations. Give them all a big hand. That is awesome. Their children are going to their old high school. That is so cool. Man, where I grew up, you could, I mean, there was tracks going out of town. Like, everybody just ran as soon as they could. They got out of the place I grew up in, man. Yeah, this is cool. Westwood's a great place. And it's probably a good moment for me to just say that, my job, as far as I can tell, is the best job on the planet. There is not a better job than what I have. I'm sorry you have the job you have because you don't have my job. And my job's working with this every day. I leap out of bed. Now, maybe 5:20 in the morning when I get up and I have to be here for 7, but I tell you, I get here and I'm smiling and I'm excited. And these guys, especially these ones here, I mean, they hated me when we started. They did not like me at all. I told the truth. God, they hated the truth. They didn't like truth at all. They wanted to lie. You're amazing. When I said, you're not, they're like, we're shattered. But then when they became amazing and they realized that was the real truth, it was like, hey, that's a little bit more meaningful and it feels something in here when I actually am amazing. But we'll prove that in a minute, okay, with these guys behind me. So this is grade 9 concert band. And before I get to blah, 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 let's tune first. Because I want to go right into this first tune, unlike what I did with symphonic band, and that's on me. Go ahead, Ellie. I describe my job some days as screwing with the minds of young people. I'm going to give you an example of that right now. Any grade 9 parent that wants to come up and take a photo of their child, please do so right this very moment. I'm not joking. Come on up. Come and take a photo of your first band concert at Westwood Collegiate. I'm opening the floor. Any brave takers? Come on. None of this over here stuff. I mean, come on right on up and take the photo. Simpson's smiley face. You're just. No takers, eh? Come on, this is the time for public humiliation. Isn't that why we had children in the first place? Yeah, okay, fair enough. No takers, weird. Yeah, oh yeah, it's like you say, nobody actually wants to come up. It's a reverse embarrassment. They don't want to be that parent, right? I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Hi, guys. Hi, okay, so, what a year. You could tell there was a palpable energy when they showed up. It was that or a Tasmanian devil that hit my room. I wasn't quite sure which, but they came into the room just yelling, screaming, and poking, and band! It was like, that's a $10,000 instrument, what are you doing? And then from there, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so much fun. And they really, honestly, truthfully, like the first day, I'm like, don't trust me and don't respect me. What? Wait, what? Did you really say that? Did the teacher just say, don't trust me, don't respect me? Oh, and don't call me teacher, I hate that word. I like coach or mentor. Because any coach I ever had, any mentor I ever had, my coach put on skates and they came beside me and said, no, Greg, hold it like this. Try this will work better. That's what coaching is. And I think too often sometimes we get hung up in this teacher top-down triangle where the teacher is the boss and has all the knowledge. Folks, Google has the knowledge. I don't have anything anymore. I mean, like that album came out in 1983. It was the greatest thing. Some kid goes, no, it's 84. Yeah, right here on my phone. Yeah, there it is, right there. And so and so and so and so were on the album. Remember how we used to pride ourselves that we knew the names of the members? They don't know that. They don't even care about Asia. Why would they care about Heat in the Moment? But they can tell me all the names of the band members now. And it's like, I didn't even know that. So when you realize that I don't have the knowledge and that they actually have more than I do, the classroom goes flat and we're equal. And that weirded them out. You're going to treat me as an equal? What? You tell me what to do. You're the teacher. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do at all. In fact, you know what? Why don't you guys set yourself up in a circle today? Let's see how that goes. And I just walked away. I literally left them, sitting, looking at them. They're all giggling to themselves. I was like, yeah, he walked away. He's like, you want us to set up in a circle? Yeah, I'm going to go in my office and sip my coffee. Have fun. I'll come out when you're done. I came out. No, it looks kind of squarey. No, bye. Went back to my office. And just talking about team and communication in a very super secret reverse psychology kind of way. You should have seen rhombus day. Set up in a rhombus today, kids. They're like, is that a real word? But we had a lot of fun. We've worked very hard. And so I rewarded them with some very passionate, honest music to reflect their personalities. So for those of you that are familiar with life in the Shire, we're going to play a piece of music about Bilbo. Now, he's gone on his epic adventures through The Hobbit, and he's come back, and he's sitting there smoking his pipe. He's got his brambleberry wine or whatever he's drinking, and he's got his little fire in his circular house with his circular doors and his circular fireplace, and he's sitting there about to write his story. I told them that if they did the next piece. Well, now it's a challenge, so I'm definitely going to make sure you play this piece of music. And they hated it. Truth? Yep, hated it. Because it's robot music at first, because their part is... How do you practice that? You go in the practice room... Okay, and then you walk away. When you realize it's a grandfather clock type piece, and there's all these little pieces all got to go, then it's like, I get it. So if I don't go beep, 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 at the right point, then I don't get beep, 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 beep. That's when it gets crazy, and that's this piece. So funny enough, the guy that wrote the big, huge, long thing about the dad with the kidney failure that ends up passing away at the end, if you didn't get that about the breaking point, wrote this piece too. So it's kind of a neat contrast to his composing style. So this is called Hypnotic Fireflies. And as Manitobans, every one of you probably has a story about either trying to catch them or at least seeing them. And fireflies are weird beasties. I don't know their gender. I don't know anything about them. I'm not an entomologist. I'm a band director. But what I can tell you is that when you first see a firefly, you don't think you've seen a firefly. You're out at night and you think it's a reflection off your glass or something like that. And you're like, what did I just, was that? Yeah, what's that? Oh, hey. And then it was there, and then it's over here, and then it's over here, and then it's over here. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, there's like more than one. I think there's, and then all of a sudden it's like somehow there's a community that appears in front of you. And then you try and like be a part of it, and you try and go up to it, and you're like, what is this? And then it's gone. It's just the weirdest thing. So the idea he had was like coming across a field at night, and you kind of stir up some fireflies, and all of a sudden out of nowhere they appear. And just as you sort of fall in love with this community of fireflies, they literally disappear right in front of your eyes. And if we do this right, we're going to do the same thing to you tonight. They're going to disappear musically. It's not like we're going to magic trick. Poof. Edward, you're a genius. How did you do that? Can you get all this stuff back in the band room the same way? That's a joke for later, because we do have to pack this up. So this was a real big challenge, and then it became their favorite piece, something they really were like, wow, this is cool. But it took a little bit of, kicking, but we got them there. So here is Hypnotic Fireflies, Grade 9 concert band. Did you see a smile on any one of them? Okay, let's try this again. They're going to clap, and you're going to smile and say, I like that clapping. Not, oh my God, it's over, we did great, it's awesome. Okay, ready? Here we go. They're going to clap, and you're going to smile. Go. Yeah. Stand up. Smile. Smile. Yay. Yes. You deserve that. See? Happy. Yay. There we go. All right, sit down, you applause hogs. All right. I made you one. Yeah, that's right. We have a saying, as they know, we want to make you applaud because you want to, not because you have to. And does it feel different? Did it feel good? Yes, it did. I agree with you, Rory McDowell. I do. Hey, it's senior jazz. Look at that. Hey. All right. 1, 2. Look, I scared the crap out of the man. I told you, screw with the minds of young people. My daily job. Yeah, you can have it if you want, but you got to pry it out of my cold, dead hands. Just saying. Either that or just steal my truck and then, well, I'll have to live here. Well, wait a minute, I already do. All right, you ready? Yeah? Can I count this thing off, or are we going to? Yes, please? Good. All right. All right. Jazz band. There we go. Senior jazz. Yeah. All right. What to do next? Oh, I'll do this one next. I'm going to do this one next. This is probably one of the favorite things I get to do in my life. Hi. Come here. Hi. Take my hand. Yeah, come on. Come on. Yeah, that's good. Come on. This way. Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is Leanne. Say hi, Leanne. Can you think of a better way to spend your 17th birthday than being here with us? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Leanne. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. Oh, I like doing stuff like that. That's fun. Embarrassing the children in front of me. Oh, God. Children at 17, God, they're young adults, aren't they? Yeah, it's scary to think about. I know it's bugging you, and I'm the parent of 2 kids that have come through this. And, yeah, it happens pretty quick. All right. Straight ahead tune, Count Basie style, called Turkey Toes. That's what you just heard. Going in a different direction now with a Fred Sturm composition. And he decided to meld the idea of bluegrass with Kind of Blue album by Miles Davis, specifically the track So What, and he merged the two together. So it's sort of what we would call maybe nowadays a mashup. And the two styles really messed with the band's mind, but they worked really hard to reconcile something called hemiola, or the displacement of beat, where we kind of change things around a little bit in this chart. And it's going to be a little bit maybe of a different adventure for you in the world of jazz. So here is Kind of Bluegrass. We missed a solo for some applause. Mr. Rylan Waddell back there on the drums, please. Yeah. Way to go, buddy. Well done. Well done. Oh. Got up this morning, and you don't want to wish the day away, but I can't believe we're already at the last tune of the night. Goes by so quick, and 6 bands, lots of amazing, talented children, and we wind ourselves up here. Honestly and truthfully, everything you see here can go back in the band room, with the exception of these panels. They fold flat, and there's a hard surface panel that has to fold up, and there's some pins in the bottom that are spring-loaded down here. You pull those, and the feet fold up flat, and this piece folds flat here, and this is hard. Now this here, this is just a nothing that sits in between them, and these just lift up on 2 pins and just come up upon themselves. And those all go to the double doors so they can be picked up in the morning. The floor will be taken up by our wonderful and fabulous janitorial team. But everything else that you see here, except for the microphones and cables and stuff, and that's all industry audio stuff, the carpets, et cetera, all just go back down in the band room. And I don't really particularly care where. I have a group of slaves in grade 9 tomorrow in 2nd period that will take care of that for me. Sorry, did I say slaves? Wonderful young people who love me very much. So that's the next thing. And then there's some racks that are going to come out of the back there. I know that Reed and guys back there will bring out these racks and just hang those chairs back up that you're sitting on. Our wonderful, comfy, padded chairs. Thank you very much. Did you notice the color scheme when you walked in? Everything all matches, the room and this. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Thank you. I mean that. Thank you. Thank you for letting me work with them and all the other kids here at Westwood. You've made a choice, a lot of you, to come here. And we are so thankful and grateful that you did. Westwood is an amazing school. I'm not saying it because I work here. I say it because I've worked here for 20 years. I've had the opportunities to leave, and here I am. And I can't think of going anywhere else. The staff here is impeccably, bar none, the best in the province. You can look up their credentials. You can find out what they've done. We have got staff members that write curriculum, that are authors of textbooks. We've got staff here that were literally star setters on the U of M volleyball team. We've got people that played soccer for SFU. We have got all of that and more. And you made the choice to come here, and you put your kids in band. And it's not because of some advertising campaign. It's because you probably heard from someone in the community. And if you know of someone in the community you think should be involved in this, and we take everybody. I don't bench anybody. I take anybody that comes in, and we turn them into musicians. Tell them about it. We got an open house coming up on the 12th, Mr. Duke. Yes. My brain's not there quite yet. That's next week. Yeah, 12th. Yeah, nodding. Yeah. So on the 12th, come on by. Tell them to come see me. Come by the band room. There's no smoke and mirrors going on. Just come down and talk to me and say hi. I'd love to talk to them. So thank you. Thank you very, very much. Because of your support, I'm able to do the insanity that you're about to hear now. So when I was like, okay, what else could we do with these guys? I threw the bassy at them. I threw the weirdo tune that just it's kind of odd. It's out there. It's crazy. Blake's soloing away on who knows what. I don't know. He's going different directions and all the crazy stuff he's doing there. I know what we need to do. Hey, have you guys ever heard of the angry bass player, the angry man of jazz? And they're like, well, I don't know. What are you talking about? And I introduced them to the music of Charles Mingus. One of the most underrated American composers that's ever lived. In fact, he was a pack rat and kept writing and writing and writing and writing and writing music. They have been working for 10 years to catalog all the music that was in his apartment when he died. Because he just didn't perform it. He just wrote it and put it in a trunk. And they're still trying to find stuff. This piece is an argument. So you're going to hear the band arguing a little bit. Take a guess who's going to win. You guys are going to love this. Here's something for you to end your night and send you off with a big smile. Here's Moanin' by Charles Mingus. Well, if you think that was a barrel of monkeys and a lot of fun, tomorrow night you can catch the choir in the second part of our concert series here in the theater at 6:30 p.m., just down the hallway. Thank you all very much for being here. It's awesome to see you. I look forward to meeting every one of you that I haven't met yet. Looking forward to your help with taking some of this stuff down to the band room. Thanks again. Have a great night.